In terms of angels, do you need the warm introduction? Is that a myth? Should you just kind of hang around at events? Do people approach you out of the blue? Or?
I'll describe what I think is the sort of gold standard, and then I'll explain why it doesn't always work. What you should do is enthuse influential people about what you're doing. So, for example, an influential person might be a founder of a startup that's working in a sector that's similar to yours, or who would really understand the problem you're trying to solve. And try and get more than one. So try and get them, and try and get ones that don't know each other even. Have sincere conversations with them about holes or flaws in what you, like get them to critique it, and to have either good answers or to actually solve as many of the critiques as they put to you. And then at some point say, okay, well now I'm going to raise some money, and ask them to invest or ask them, who would be good for it. The reason it's better to do it this way is because people like to discover things. They don't like to be sold something. If they feel like something's being shopped around, then it feels sort of less important. And also, if it's come with a warm referral from someone who the recipient of the referral respects and admires, because they think, okay, yeah, this person knows a lot about startups, technology, the precise thing that the startup is doing, then the recipient of the deck, who's been at this point to ask for money, is just going to be listening a lot more. So that's the gold standard, but like not running away from people who might critique what you're doing, running towards them, in fact. Trying to get them on side, and that's not an argument, it's by your actions, really, and say, remember that thing I told you was a problem, I've solved it now, so that you seem to be someone who's action-orientated. And then at some point, it will feel like you have momentum and the time is right, and you can answer most of the challenges that will come about. You've thought about it properly, and then you can go in front of some investors, and hopefully you'll have met people along the way who will introduce you to those investors. That is the way to do it, right? But then, going right back to the start, most people don't have the time to do that. The person needs to raise the money so that they can earn a salary, so that they can continue to work on it. What I've just described is a kind of time-consuming... I want to be clear, there is another way, right? So it's all very well me describing the gold standard. Your personal circumstances might determine whether you can or not. So like you take a proposition out. These days, by the way, there's lists of angel investors on the internet. Come to SETsquared, there's lots of places where you could probably find names. The emails go out cold. A lot of seed and pre-seed VC funds have application forms which they encourage people to use. They actively say, this is how you get in front of us. We don't need a warm introduction. You can just apply in a normal way. But if you're going to do it that way, you should expect more no's. You should expect longer periods of silence. But to be honest with you, it probably depends mostly on what you're doing and who you are.
What you're saying about running towards people that criticise you, because I think that's really important as a founder. You can't be defensive, can you? You've got to be open to ideas and other people's input.
You do sometimes get people saying, oh, I'm working on this, I'd be interested in your advice. And then you spend some time looking at what they're doing, and then you give them some quite detailed feedback, and like they write back in 3 minutes saying, thank you very much, can you introduce me to some investors?
Yeah, okay.
And I'm just thinking, I don't think you really wanted that advice. I don't think you're listening to me at all. And that's not to say that I'm right. You don't have to take on board my advice, but like it's clearly just a tactical thing. If you're able to, then it's better to seek people out who you really do want to talk to, and that you do value what they have to say.
That's being honest and genuine about your own intentions.
Yeah, I think that is about being honest and genuine. Yeah, I think because it kind of shows. I think people have just evolved, like, to be pretty good at sort of getting to the bottom of what someone's motivations are, and so it works much better in the long run if you try and develop fewer but deeper, valuable relationships than lots of shallow ones.